Hello students, good morning all. In today's video of the business organization and management, we are going to study the next point related to the organization, which is guiding principle for an ideal organization. If you want to make your business organization more clear, more specific, more accurate, which type of principle or which type of general rules must be kept in mind while you are framing your business organization. So, the guideline principles for creating ideal organization. Guiding principle for creating ideal organization. It means if you want to make your business organization more clear, more ideal, which type of principles should be followed by you? In that, on the page number 210 in your book, there is given. We have seen certain characteristics of ideal organization. In our previous video, we have already seen some basic characteristics. If you follow or if you have that type of characteristics in your business organization can be more accurate. To create such an organization, certain management principles are required to be utilized. If you want to make your business organization as per the characteristics we have seen in our previous video, at that time in your business organization, some principles must be in your business organization. Every characteristics can be brought out by utilizing any principles. We have discussed in the necessary parts such as guideline principles. In the 12th standard also, you have studied in the organization chapter 14th principles which is given by Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol જે 14 principle આપેલા છે એ તમને ધોરણ 12 ની અંદર ભણી ગયા છો. These principles are very important. And in this also, the same principle related to that Henry Fayol's principles are related to these particular principles. Here also some principles are given by many experts like Newton Cooley, Henry Fayol, Alfred Marshall, Max Weber. This type of experts given principle, if you follow, if you implement this principle in your business organization, at that time your business organization could be more powerful. So, management experts Bernard Drucker, Coons and O'Donnell, Simon, Urwig, Kimball, etc. have discussed these principles in detail. Keeping in view the limitations of syllabus, we have discussed the important principles here. In business organization, many experts have given number of principles, but we have limitations of our syllabus, we have limitations of time frame. So all the principles which is given by all the experts are not possible to study in the one or two video or in the classroom. So that's why we have going to discuss some major principles which is must if you are going to do your business organization more ideal. So let's start with the first principle which is given on the page number 211 in your book. The first is principle of unity of objective. Whenever you are creating your objective, at that time you must keep in your mind how that objective can be practically implemented in your business organization. Say for example, in your personal life or in your student life, say for example, in the first year of the Bachelor of Commerce, you are making timetable. Your timetable should be made in accordance with any implementation. Say for example, if you are not capable, or if your timetable is not possible to implement practically in your life, at that time your timetable does not give you the result. Same in the business organization. If you are preparing the objective and your objective cannot give you right result which you want, at that time your objective becomes useless, your objective becomes futile. So how you can create the objective of that type which will gives you more accurate and more proper result? In that, as we all know, what is the main objective of business organization? The main objective of business organization is to gain maximum profit from the selling activity. Whatever your business or whatever you are working with, whatever your operations are, from that operations, from that business, maximum profit is to be earned. That is objective of most of the firm. What is the objective of your employees? Your employees' objective is to get maximum salary or to get maximum remuneration. Remuneration means बढ़कर, વધારેમાં વધારે बढ़कर મેળવવું. This type of objective could be in your business organization. And here you can clearly see if company will give more remuneration, more salary to their employees, at that time they have less profit. If the company keep much profit within the company પોતાની પાસે જે છે વધારે profit રાખે, at that time their employee cannot get more salary or more remuneration. So these both the objectives are in different manner, in different ways. So the good organization is that organization which can create simultaneous effect of the objectives which gives benefit to the employees as well as to the management. Every department and every part of the organization should be only be for accomplishing objectives of and business enterprise. Whatever the objectives are framed by you, all the objectives should be framed in that manner that will directly connected to your business organization. If any objectives are there which is not directly connected to your business organization, that type of objective should be ignored. When there are more than one objective, then there should be consistency among them. If in your business organization there is a number of objectives are there are more than one objectives are available in your business organization, at that time your objectives should be consistent. These principles indicate that the structure of organization should be set up as per its objective. These objectives are to be accomplished together by every person, group or brand. It means if you want to achieve your business organization, each and every person, each and every people must try to get your objectives simultaneously. Say for example, in your business organization there is a 4 branches available, or there is a 4 departmentation is in your business organization. At that time each and every branch and each and every department and every employee of your business organization simultaneously make efforts to get their objective. If even one branch or even one employee of your business organization are not ready to accept the objectives of your business organization, at that time you are not getting your business objectives as per your thoughts, as per your will. The next is principle of efficiency. First of all, here we have to understand the meaning of efficiency. What is efficiency? Efficiency means power to produce goods at a minimum cost. कोई पण वस्तुનું ઉત્પાદન એવી રીતે કરવું કે ઓછામાં ઓછી પડતર પડે. Power to produce any goods at a minimum cost, that is called the efficiency level of your business enterprise. The organization which is able to accomplish objectives at a minimal cost can be called efficient organization. Efficient organization means if your business organization can complete your objective, can accomplish your target at a minimum cost, at that time your business enterprise can be called efficient organization. Here we can take another example related to efficiency. Say for example, if there are two business enterprise named Unit A and Unit B, both have same objective. Both the business enterprise want to earn 1 crore rupee profit during the year. 1 crore rupee profit during the year. If this enterprise and unit number 1, it means Unit A can earn that in 10 crore rupees cost, and Unit B can earn this in 12 crore rupees. To earn 1 crore rupees, Unit A have to expend 1 crore rupee, and to earn 1 crore rupee, Unit B have to contribute 12 crore rupees. At that time, we can say that Unit A is more efficient than the Unit B. અહીંયા એવું કહી શકાય Unit A જે છે Unit B કરતા વધારે efficient છે. So, efficiency means to gain your objectives at a minimum cost. That is called the efficiency level of your business organization. Though cost is not the only parameter of efficiency, it doesn't mean only if your cost is minimum, at that time your business are efficient. It is not right at all the time. Along with cost, the employees should get proper wages in your business organization. Every employee should get wages according to their work. Behavior and satisfaction. Most of the employees should get behavior satisfaction in your business organization. Say for example, if in your business organization, if most of the employees are not satisfied with your business organization and you are giving more and more profit to their employees, at that time your more profit is also not lead them to efficiency level. So in your business organization, your employees should be satisfied. They must get proper wages, proper salary from your business enterprise, as well as the society should get services and the proprietors should get profit out of it. It means overall in your business organization, each and every aspect is clear, each and every aspect is proper. At that time only you can say your business enterprise is efficient. If any one element or any one party which is not satisfied with your business organization, at that time also you cannot say your business organization is efficient. Whatever the parameter, be it cost, existence, services, expansion, is recognized, but it should be constantly observed in the creation of organization. In your business organization, whatever the element is, whatever the parameter is, whether it is related to cost, your cost should be that much which you can afford or which your rival has less than your rival's cost. Existence, your existence should be in your market. Services provided to the society, services provided to your customers. Expansion, in how much extent you can expand your business enterprise, and other factors. These all are factors must be affect your efficiency level. So your business organization should be effective in consonance with cost, mainly cost, and with other factors also. The third is principle of span. Every officer has his limitation or capacity to supervise his subordinates. Generally, one person can properly supervise 5 to 6% at a time. As we all know, every human being has some limitations. In this world, out of 700 million people, there were no person which capacity is unlimited. Each and every person exists on the earth has some limitations. So, if any person are there, if any manager are there who supervise their employees, who supervise their subordinates, so each and every employee must be kept in mind by the framing the organization which employee can lead it, how much of the employee. Say for example, according to the study, it has said that it has observed one employee can supervise 5 to 6 employee at a time. કોઈ પણ વ્યક્તિ 5 થી 6 વ્યક્તિને સુપરવાઇઝ કરી શકે છે. Each person can supervise 5 to 6 employees, 5 to 6 subordinates at the time. If any person has given 100 employees and he asked to supervise all of them at a simultaneous time, at the same time, at that time, these persons are not able to supervise 100 employees at the same time. So, in your business organization, control system should be that much which is effective in your business organization. If you give more and more subordinate to any one employee at that time, that employee will not able to supervise all the factors of all the employees at the same time, and that employee's work will not be effective. Generally, one person can properly supervise 5 to 6 person at a time, 5 to 6 person at a time. As per the scientific estimation, this limitation is a 4 person for a higher administration officer, while lower level officer can supervise 8 to 10 person. It means if any person is working on higher level, he can supervise 4 employees at the same time, and if any person is working on the lower level of the business enterprise, he can supervise 8 to 10 employees. It means no person has power or no person has capacity to supervise more than 10 employees at the same time. So, while you are framing organization, your organization should be there which one person can supervise only from 8 to 10%. If any person or any officer get work to supervise more than 10 employees at the same time, at that time that employee will not able to do his task properly. A survey was conducted in 1951. In 1951, America done one survey. According to that survey, America of 100 big companies having more than 500 employees, American company did survey on the 500 employees of the America. The outcome of this survey are very interesting. The president, who was the highest officer, had 1 to 24 administrative officers under him. The president or the prime minister in our country, if we want to take example, under the prime minister or under the president, there are 1 to 24 employees are working. Prime minister has the highest authority, and under the prime minister there were 1 to 24 employees are working. Only presidents of 6 companies had more than 16 officers under him. The 6 company had 16 officers under him, and in 26 companies this figure was limited up to 6 officers. Average number of all companies was 9 officers. It means America did survey on 100 company, on the 5,000 employees of the companies. Among them, if we take example or if we take into overall, at that time every higher level authority have 9 subordinates. He can supervise 9 subordinates at the time. Higher the number of officers under the head, more complex becomes the work. More if you are giving more employees to the higher level authorities, at that time higher level authorities are not able to supervise that person at the right time. Generally, the personal skill of the top man determines the number of officers under him. Following factors affect the form of control area. If the officer is well trained or if he is prepared by imparting training, then control area can be increased. In your business organization, if higher level authorities are trained and if he has power, at that time then you can impart more employees to your business officers. If your business employees or the higher level authorities of your business enterprise is trained, at that time you can give more employees to supervise. If the functions of officers are clear and simple, then also control area gets increased. The second is, in your business organization, if you are very clear about your objective, if you are very clear about which task and which responsibilities should be done in your business organization, at that time also your business enterprise or your control area can be increased. After that, if the planning is clear cut and specific, then also control area increases. When you are doing planning, in the planning process, in the planning stage, if we are making clear each and every aspect related to the planning and each and every aspect related to your business organization very clear, at that time also you can increase your level of your business control. After that, if the form of business is stable and no rapid changes takes place, then also control area can be increased. If your business organization is that type in which there is no more changes occurs in your business enterprise, at that time also your span of control or your control area can be increased. After that, if the information dissemination system is efficient, then also the control area is increased. In your business organization, if the level of information dissemination, it means how your information system is work in your business organization, is your business information system is good, at that time your control area can be increased. And if your information control system is not good, at that time then there is no effectiveness of your span of control. The principle is also known as management expansion principle. Bigger the unit, more are the limitations of its area. Due to limited area, several officers are required. If in your business organization, if your business is bigger, at that time in your business organization control needed more. If your business enterprise is small, at that time you are not need that much of control in your business organization. So the size of your business organization is also affected on the control system. The next is scalar principle. What is scalar principle? Scalar principle means your authority or the power is centralized to one point, and from that point every employee will get orders and information related to the business objectives. As per this principle, the final authority in any business organization should be in the center. In any one person has power, or in any one person has authority to take every decision in your business organization. It means the power and the authority is centralized to one point. From there, the line is drawn downward. From that point, your power and authority comes downward. This principle makes possible oneness and alliance in any organization. The officers are made aware about the commands in sequential order. Even every employee gets a clear picture about his responsibilities. This principle is also known as linear authority principle also. It means in your business organization, whatever the power and authorities are, if it is centralized to one person, if it is centralized to one point, it is called the scalar principle. Say for example, if the authority is centralized to the owner of any particular organization, the first comes owner, or you can also say it is a CEO of any business enterprise, chief executive officers. From chief executive officers, all the authorities are centralized to here. From owner, he order or he issue order or he give instruction to lower level. Say for example, manager of different departments. From different departments, supervisor get some information from the supervisor. The ultimate level, which is workers, will get the orders or the information. If this type of organization is your business organization, this is called the scalar chain. From the top level officer, lower level, downward, and in the ultimate, the workers will get orders and get the information from the top level officers. This type of organization is happen in your business organization. At that time, your business organization can be ideal organization. So these are the four basic principles. More principles are